So there we are then, the Central European Rally is done and dusted for another year. And well, it's proven to be as good as the first edition, as dramatic as the first edition, as decisive in the championship, though it hasn't crowned the World Rally Champion. Let's go through it a little bit, let's talk about some of the key details, and let's talk about the outcomes that it's got for the WRC more generally. And firstly, what a drive by Oyod Tanak to win the event. I mean, he had been dependable and consistent. He was up in the top 3 for most of the event, and then managed to claim the lead on Sunday when Sebastian Ogier firstly had a slow start to the day, and then had it for certain when Ogier crashed on the penultimate stage. Ogier himself was in really good form. He had been keeping Neville honest, just doing what he needed to do for the manufacturers before that mistake on Sunday afternoon. And Thierry Neville did pretty much what he had to do. It was almost reticent of Hayden Paddon in Poland last weekend, because Neville was leading onto Friday night. Like 6.4 seconds isn't much, but he was leading. There was a very realistic chance that he could have been able to become champion on pure pace alone this weekend. But an off on stage 11, 2 offs on stage 11, should I say, cost him 30 seconds, and then he backed off and just cruised through to the end. Still picking up a podium after Ogier's demise. In the middle of Tanak and Neville on the podium is Elfyn Evans, 7 seconds off the win. It would have been great to see Elfyn win an event this season, not least because then it would have fulfilled one of my pre-season predictions that said that we were going to have 6 different winners. But, yeah, I mean, he deserves it. He does. It's been nearly a year since his last win, and he's been close so many times this season, but no cigar. However, 4th place, the driver who's really bounced back this time out, which is Takahata Katsuta. Sure, he had a couple of offs, like a couple of moments, but he made it to the end. He was a dependable 3rd car, which is what he needed to be. Obviously, Sami Pajari had issues with the hybrid in his first tarmac event, and tarmac is where the loss of hybrid is felt more. After Friday stages, he was 50 seconds off the pace of Katsuta. That wasn't a show of his true pace necessarily, because if you look at that gap, 49.6 seconds, it was then down to 35.5 going to the end of Saturday. But then he was off on Sunday, wasn't he? He was off on the opener on Sunday, rolling 3 times over, which is a shame. It's a shame to have that kind of end, but it shows why Katsuta has been given that drive. He is just so dependable. The other rally wanted to make it to the end without any issues was Gregoire Munster, but 3 minutes 40 off the pace. It was mostly about just making sure he got through to the end of the event. Now the supporting series, and we don't have an announcement as of the time of recording. I waited a couple of hours to see if I could get an announcement for it, of the winner of the Beyond Rally. But we do have for WRC2, Nikolai Grosjean. Solberg's 2nd in the RC2 runners. Apparently he's entered for the teams for Talksport. And then Philip Maraj in 3rd, Miko Marchik 4th, Kaito Kaitanovic in 5th, Josh McAleen in 6th place. Gus Greensmith just off the back. Then Marian Grable, Maxime Potti, Armin Kramer, and William Crichton. It's a really good spread in terms of the entry list in that one. Names from all around Europe, the European scene, the World Championship scene, some of the British Championship scene. But it seemed like a fun battle to watch. Of course, Johan Russell had a myriad of different issues which ended his title bid, but he didn't have to worry too much because DG Sport is already the team's champions in WRC2. Meanwhile, in WRC3, Mathieu Chatillon becomes a winner again for, I think it's again, for Renault. So Renault are picking up yet another win in WRC3 this season. I knew they were going to win at least one event. This is the second one. It's showing that Renault, as you would almost stereotypically expect for a French rallying outfit, are good on the tarmac. It's the gravel where they probably need to see the most improvement. Philip Cohen was second. He ended up being a minute off of Chatillon's pace. And then Hermann Gassner was third, ahead of Lakovsky, Fontana, Charpentier and Czerny. The Beyond Rally entrants all had bizarre events in terms of the bad luck that they had. I mean, none of them had a clean event. Claire Schonborn had an issue where it's listed as fuel. I think she ran out of fuel on Friday before rejoining and running through the rest of the event without issue. Licia Boudet had a good Friday, but on Saturday went off in the same kind of way that Thierry Neuville did, her compatriot, but damaged the suspension, had to retire. And then Suvi Yurikainen ended up running out of coolant, having to retire, and I don't actually have the reason down for why she had to retire before the power stage, but it's also listed as a mechanical issue. The good thing is, for Beyond Rally, it's judged by the panel based off of their performance. Not pure pace, not luck when it comes to reliability, because all three of them have had some kind of reliability woes. But it's based off of everything they demonstrated over the course of the weekend, which is exactly how the WRC should be doing it. But now we're getting to the headlines, right? Thierry Neuville has a 25-point lead going to the final round in Japan. Elfyn Evans is now in third on 185, so it is a two-horse race. Hyundai have won the Drivers' Championship. They could easily do the double. We'll get on to the manufacturers in a moment. But 25 points. That means that Oyt Tanak will have to win the Saturday and pick up Sunday points to be able to win the championship. Now, he could be the fastest on Super Sunday. That'd be his 25 points. We'd have to hope that Neuville doesn't score anything. For Thierry Neuville, his goal is simple. Survive. Get through, ideally all of Rally Japan. If not, show up on the Sunday, win the power stage, and I think he's champion. Because this is Tanak's second win of the season. Neuville has 2 wins. But at the same time, I believe that the way it would... No, sorry, he has 3, doesn't he? I'm getting confused, but what I do know is in terms of countback, it would then go back to something like maybe who won the first stage of the season, which would then go back to Neuville. We don't want to see that countback situation. It'd be so bizarre. In terms of the manufacturers, Hyundai come out of this with a 15-point lead over Toyota. Now, Toyota will probably pull out all the stops in Japan. We will have 5 cars, potentially. Or, I think at least 4. Because then Carlo Rivera is showing up, so we should have 4. But they do have the capacity to run 5, I believe. It's going to be in Toyota City. They are going to want to show up for this one. But it will be a tough mountain to climb. Hyundai are going to have the same lineup as they did this time. Andreas Mikkelsen was in good form after Friday's retirement. And it's just going to be down to pot luck as well. Whichever one gets 2 cars to the finish is probably going to be champion. If they get all 3, you're pretty much locked in. Provided that the other team haven't locked out the podium. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon for more. And until then, it's bye-bye for now.